Well, to be honest with you, the reason why I went on Shark Tank was for mentorship. And I really wanted someone to kind of help me into that next step.
And I want a good show, damn it. Ready for a good show?
Doing awesome, yeah. I'm excited to talk to you, Angie. Thank you for having me.
Yes!
I've always been doing big into archery, and my dad said, hey, you guys want to start an archery store?
That's how it was.
Yes, of course, let's do this together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. I'm your host, Andrew Maff, and as usual, I'm super excited for this episode. I'm here with Brittany Lehman of the Chub Rub Patch. Brittany, how you doing? You ready for a good show?
Hi, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I am ready.
Yes, I'm so excited for this one. One, I've actually worked with products in this space before, which is crazy, years ago. And two, you're in Fort Lauderdale, right?
I am. Are you?
Yeah. South Florida, born and raised there. I'm not there anymore. I was born and raised in Boca Raton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Florida native, super excited.
When you come back to see fam, you'll have to hit me up.
I will definitely do that. Although this time of year, although when this airs, it won't be as bad. However, I'll bet it's like 100 and something ridiculous degrees right now, isn't it?
It's about 98, so you're pretty close.
Ugh. Yeah. Well, now I understand why you invented this product. So
exactly.
let's do the usual. Let's pretend no one knows who you are. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, more about Chub Rub Patch, and then we'll take it from there.
Awesome. My name is Brittany Lehman, and I'm originally from Ohio. I went to cosmetology school there and ended up moving by myself to Miami. And I had, met a few people in this kind of industry, but it was more about hair and makeup. That's like what I did. I now actually work for WWE, and I am a makeup artist and a hairstylist for them. And one of my first products was a hair tool that I invented because I've been a makeup artist and a hairstylist for 20 years. So that was my first invention. Let's carry on to 8 years later, my second time trying out for Shark Tank. I actually made it on the show because of the Chub Rub Patch, and I will explain what this fabulous product is. So this is a product that I came up with because my sister and I, going back to the Heat, were going to a Miami Dolphins game, and my sister walks into the porta potty, and she's in there for a very long time. And we're tailgating, having a good time, and people are like looking at me, and I'm like, I don't know. I knock on it, and I'm like, are you okay? And she comes out, and she's as pale as a ghost. And I'm like, are you okay? What happened? And she said I had to wear shapewear because I didn't want to chafe. And if you guys don't know what that is a shapewear that goes underneath that holds everything in, but a lot of people wear it because they chafe. And so then their legs don't rub together. So after that day, I've dealt with this for many, many years, and I have another sister that has dealt with this as well, and we'd always have to wait for her because she was spraying the creams and the gels, and then she'd have to wait and put the powder on, and it's just always been a thing in our life. And so after that one day, I was like, I have to invent something for people like me, for people like us, to help us, because there was nothing out there that would stay all day. Yes, there are many products on the market that deal with thigh chafing, but for me, it didn't work because it wasn't an all-day use. You had to go back into the bathroom, reapply, carry it in your bag, or you had to wear the shapewear and almost pass out in a porta potty. So that's when I decided to come up with this product, and I came up with this product during the pandemic. We went to the Dolphins game, and then during the pandemic is when I started actually working on it. And I tried to license the product at first. And I thought, this is a great product to license. Let's go that route, calling companies. And the answers that I was getting is that the product's great, but not right now. Not right now. The world is in such a weird, wild place. We can't do this. And so for me, I was like, first of all, I can't go another summer or in any heat. I wear them when I run, everything. I was like, I can't go without this. Like, I have to make this product. So then that's when I went and manufactured the product. And here we are. In July, we had our 2-year anniversary. And in February, I was on Shark Tank.
Nice. So, great segue. Of course, I always have to ask, how was that? Did you enjoy it? Was it worth it? How were the results after? All that fun stuff.
So, like I had mentioned before, I tried out for Shark Tank 8 years ago. And that experience to me was totally different than this round because I actually went to a casting, an in-person casting. And I waited in line for 8 hours and people were like, oh my God, that's horrible. It's Miami, you get it.
Yeah.
But for me, it was one of the most amazing experiences because at that point, like if you ever have any questions in life, you normally go to your parents, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles. And I didn't have anybody that I knew was an inventor. So I was kind of just figuring this all out on my own. And when I stood in line with these other people, they got it and they understood and they had been through things like I had been through. And so I actually was like, oh my God, my people, I found them. It was amazing. So of course I didn't get on the show then. And then how I got on the second time was through TikTok. And I had many, many viral videos. And I had actually applied, but they reached out to me on there and I thought it was a scam. I was like, I have a mentor. And so I reached out to him and I said, what do you think about this? And he said, well, why don't you try it? What if it's not a scam? And I was like, oh, I guess you're right, So I replied and we set up a meeting and it was legit. And here I am. And I did not get a deal. But it's been incredible. It really has been incredible. The exposure has been amazing. Of course, for the first few days, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? But then I've met so many amazing people from this experience. We just had a Shark Tank reunion in Vegas. It was amazing because I felt like at that point again, like, oh my gosh, these are my people. They understand. They don't think I'm crazy. This actually works. So It was great.
Nice. How were online sales after the airing or during the airing? Yeah,
amazing. And we actually just had another airing a month ago, and those were even more incredible because we are going towards hotter season.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
interesting. Wow, so you did better with the re-airing?
Yes.
Wow, that's a first. I haven't heard that one before.
Yes.
Nice.
We did pretty great the first time, but the second time was better because I feel like people were like, oh, okay, now I can use this product.
Yeah.
And just like during winter and stuff, people still do use the product. Athletes use our product. I've heard of so many different things. People in the military have been using it. Horseback riders, people like send me DMs and they're like, hey, I'm a horseback rider. I'm like, I would have never known because I've never ridden a horse. So here we are.
Yeah. What else are you doing from a marketing side? I know obviously when Shark Tank airs, awesome, but what else are you doing to kind of start getting the product out there?
Well, right now we are working really, really close with influencers, and that has been incredible for us. TikTok Shop has really, like I said, like our start was really with TikTok. And so we have just grown with them. They just started TikTok Shop within the last, I think it's year and a half, but it's really started to take off and they're still in their beta stage. But we really work close with influencers there because they know the product, they know TikTok Shop, and they know how to use it. So it's been incredible. And we also do a lot of lives. And I really enjoy that because I feel like I get to connect with the customer and they can ask me any question and I'm going to, they'll get the answer right there instead of having to wait for an email and such like that.
Yeah. So from the influencer side on TikTok, it's always a very interesting subject. In your case, your product's not like the craziest, most expensive thing in the world. So you've got to get some pretty decent traction for it to do well. When you're working with influencers, what's your approach? Are you like seeding them where you just, send them free product and hope they post? Are you paying them? Like what's your strategy from the influencer side?
So I'm kind of the person that feels like the more you give, the more you'll get. And so I do give them a very high percentage when giving them because they work harder and it worked out better. Because I think we started they reached out to us. TikTok Shop reached out to us, and they give you suggestions. They invited us to the headquarters, and they say, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that. And so we started out with a lower number and it just wasn't working. And then you give them a higher number, and then people started reaching out to us, and then they tell their influencer friends, and that's how it's been. And I feel like a lot of times too, people have seen me on lives and they'll reach out. And I just feel like what else has worked really well is sitting down with them and showing them that we care, because we want the product to work for people. We want them to explain to our customers, you have to read the directions because our product is so new, how to apply, how to remove. There's a QR code, and explaining that to them. And we have a really close knit group, and we are trying to expand with that. But those great people have gone viral multiple times, and they know the product, and it just has worked very, very well.
Nice. So you've got them set up with like some kind of like affiliate link, I assume. What's your platform?
We have been using, we do them all, but we have been using TikTok Shop. They have a new center where you can get them through there, and it's very easy.
Oh, really? They do it directly through there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. So, but then they have to purchase through Shop, right?
They do have to purchase through Shop, yes. But what we have seen too is if we get a viral video from one of our influencers, it goes up on all platforms. Because somebody's comfortable using this, somebody's credit card's in this, somebody,
Yeah. So are you solely selling on your website, or are you available in retail, Amazon, Walmart, anywhere else, or is it just on the site right now?
We are on our website, which is the chubrubpatch.com. We are on Amazon, and we are also on TikTok Shop. Beautiful.
How you liking Amazon?
Well, it's kind of a love-hate relationship, It's great, right? It is great because the numbers are there and everybody uses Amazon. I use Amazon. I love Amazon. But at the same time, they're expensive. You got to pay the beast, and that's just what it is. And we had a friend of ours that was on Shark Tank, and we said, hey, what are a few things that we should do before getting on Shark Tank? We were not on Amazon. And so we got on Amazon 10 minutes before the episode aired.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And like I said, I'm a makeup artist and a hairstylist for WWE. I had a show in Canada. So everybody's having these watch parties, and I'm just on my phone. Are we on Amazon? Are we on Amazon? While I'm trying to do makeup in one hand, phone in the other. So it's just a wild ride over here.
Did you end up seeing an influx in sales on Amazon as well, or solely on your website?
Absolutely. I mean, there was nothing really to compare it to because we just got on there. But at the same time, it was wild. It was awesome. Great. I cannot complain about it one bit.
That's good. Yeah. What's the game plan? So as time goes on, are you thinking of expanding the product line? Is it just to kind of get it to a certain point and exit? Like, what's your thought?
Well, I mean, as an entrepreneur, we all kind of know that the days are so different, right? It's like highs, lows, ups, downs, sideways. And at 10 o'clock, it could be this answer. And 2 o'clock, it could be this answer. But for me right now, today, we are trying to expand the line and making kind of like a Chub Rub Patch 2.0. And that's what we were going to go to. And we want to focus more on, yes, we have our amazing customers right now, but we want to explain to people that it's not about being overweight. I have friends that are size 3, working at WWE, and sorry to keep name dropping there, but I've worked there for 8 years. So I have worked around a lot of really fit people and their thighs touch. And so we are trying to kind of focus more on athletes, more the military, more, and people, and showing them, hey, it's not just for curvy women or women in general. So we're trying to expand that as well.
Nice. The overall marketing approach, obviously heavy on the TikTok side, hence TikTok Shop and everything. Have you expanded into anything outside of that? Have you started doing like paid advertising, anything from like a retention side of things? Because I also imagine that you'd probably get a pretty decent amount of subscriptions considering you got to reuse them or replace them and all that kind of stuff. So what's that whole approach?
Well, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It's very difficult to keep in inventory right now because it is our hottest
Cool.
season. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Good
right.
problem.
It's a good problem. Everybody always says that until I'm like, gosh, this is so stressful. But we're having issues with inventory right now. So the thing is yes, we want to keep all 5 shades available at all times because we want to be inclusive and we want people to be able to wear which shade they want. But when our influencers go viral, I mean, we can't control that, and which is a great thing, right? It is a great thing. But when, in 4 hours, one of our influencers had 1.4 million views on it, which is great, but then we sell out. So that's what we're trying to figure out first before we get any more crazy advertisements. But we're working on a few things. I guess I can't probably name names right now, but we're working on different things that people that we're going to be starting to work with soon.
Yeah. And that's from what I've heard when your marketing approach is very heavy on the influencer side. That is the number one thing where I've always been like, man, I'm glad I don't do operations. Because I don't know how you manage that kind of stuff. Of like, you could have an influencer that goes viral and you go, okay, next time they post, be locked and loaded. And then they post and it doesn't do as well. And you're like, now I'm sitting on inventory. Like, how have you been managing that? Is it really just if it goes viral, we sell out, we're going to have to order more? Or do you kind of pre-prepare it all?
Well, I mean, I guess by pulling my hair out, I'm not sure how to answer this, but we're trying to do our best. Honestly, that is one of the most major things that we're dealing with right now. And going to the Shark Tank reunion, I'm surrounded by, many, many amazing people that have grown their businesses from the ground up. And I asked that question, we have different classes and speakers and everything. And I asked that question, how are we supposed to stay above that, And there wasn't really a good answer. So for me, we're just trying our best and trying to get as much inventory into Amazon, the 60 days. And then they're like, it's funny because they'll tell you, hey, you only have inventory for 60 days. But then in 3 days, we sell out of it. So
yeah,
it's very difficult, but we're trying our best. That's our answer.
And so so you got the product available on Amazon, your inventory, are you FBA on Amazon, or are you just fulfilling everything yourself? So you've got inventory in 2 places. Like how are you managing that?
We're doing both. We're doing fulfillment by Amazon and then fulfillment by merchant, which is great because then people will still buy, but then they're not getting it in the 2 days. So then that's a little bit more difficult. So you don't understand how many sales you're losing at that point, because it just depends. Like people are like, hey, for me, and we are going to be getting into retail shortly. But until then, you have to order on the website. So we were saying, and I said this on Shark Tank, that it was like, we want to be in retail because if I'm going to a barbecue, if I'm going to a baby shower, Miami Dolphins game, I want to be able to walk into a CVS and grab this product. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to wear this cute outfit this weekend. Let me think if I'm going to chafe, unless you're a subscriber, which is great. But if you're not and you just hear about it and you're like, oh, I want to go get this product, then we have it available there too. So it's just a little.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It gives me like a CVS, Walgreens kind of vibe of like, you're stopping in to grab some drinks or something before a tailgate or before a barbecue. And you're like, I'm probably going to want this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. Makes sense.
Yes. And my boyfriend and I were just at Universal. And we saw so many people, and I was like, "Oh my God, I should have got many because I could see the struggle in people's faces and on their thighs." So
there's an interesting thing to keep an eye out for at amusement parks.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly,
so
right?
the Shark Tank thing, the purpose of the Shark Tank, obviously going for an investment. Did you continue to look for an investment after Shark Tank? Are you still looking for one? Like, what's your thought there? Or are you going to kind of continue down the road that you've been so far?
Well, to be honest with you, the reason why I went on Shark Tank was for mentorship. And I really wanted someone to kind of help me into that next step. Help me get into retail, help me to grow the brand. And yes, of course, I think they cut me a little short on Shark Tank and explaining that I wanted the money for inventory, for manufacturing, for different marketing. And I think they had just said, I want it for influencers. But I mean, hey, we all need money for everything. So I feel like the thing for me is that I just feel like for the next step, I wanted to go on Shark Tank and get one of these people. But at the same time, it happened the way that it happened, and I'm still on the road to success. And I did have a few people approach me, but I'm still going to keep on my path that I'm on right now, unless, you know, something else works out.
Unless someone listening to this show wants to help out. Brittany, really appreciate you having the show. It was a great time. I would love to give you the opportunity here to let everyone know where they can find out more about you and, of course, more about Chub Rub Patch.
Thank you for having me. And you can go to the chubrubpatch.com. You can always check out our TikToks. It is at the Chub Rub Patch, and that is also on Facebook and Instagram. And anybody can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. And I love to answer questions for entrepreneurs, inventors, or any question you have. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate it. Obviously, everyone who tuned in, thank you as well. Please make sure you do the usual: rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff on whichever podcast platform you prefer, or head over to ecommshow.com to check out all of our previous episodes. But as usual, thank you all for joining, and we will see you all next time. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the E-Comm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The E-Comm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the E-Comm Show.